Hey, John here. So what we're looking at is a 2022 Toyota Tundra skid plate system. Built that a couple years ago. Most of it, that piece there in the center, just built today. So I just want to take you along and show you how, at least give you some ideas how I did things. What we're looking at is a curb ramp for deliveries, like a two-wheel hand truck. And obviously this thing's seen better days. It got thrown out because it's all bent up. But I don't see... what I see with that is a nice looking skid plate. I'll show you what I did in the past when I find these like this. You could flatten these out. We cut these, edges off here. Cut the edges off, and this will flatten out with basically a hammer. Even this piece here, bang it flat, and I'll cut these pieces off, and then we'll have a nice straight piece of aluminum. So a couple of years ago I bought this truck. It's a 2022, and I put a lift kit on it, and let me get down here. And then a couple of years ago I put some skid plates, right? So this whole area here was wide open. I think it's for a power dam, which this truck doesn't have that option. So it's just this big wide cavity you could see right up in the radiator and everything. So I made this. The truck came with a plastic piece that was in this area. I made this a little wider out of the same stuff, the curb ramp, all bent up. Well, this is all cut up and welded, and this piece here, I know it says rough country backwards. That came with the lift kit, and it's supposed to go in the back window of a truck or something. So anyways, as you can see, this is all covered. That's not oil leaking, that's all fluid film stuff. But this is the next piece here, right? This transmission area, this whole section. I'm not going to cover this because basically the ramp I have is from this ear to that ear, so it's going to be about that width, but it's going to go from this cross member here to that cross member there. And I've already cut the piece of metal out, and I've already put some riv nuts here. So there was two holes here originally. They were smaller, and I drilled them out a little bit for the riv holes, so I'm using those two. I'm probably going to cover this. This is a mount. I don't know if it's a motor mount or transmission mount, or can't really tell. Actually, it doesn't even look like it goes to anything. Oh yeah, it goes to I think it goes to the transmission. Anyways, I'm probably going to cover that, and I put a riv nut back here. Probably going to do more. And there was no hole here, but these are too big for riv nuts, or at least any riv nut that I have. So I did a 1/4 inch 20 riv nut here, and that's just the initial plate. And I'm also the plate is not long enough, but I'm gonna have to add something on it, because this is a piece of metal for the transfer case here, and it looks like it's already been hit, but this truck had a recall for, I think, the gas tank, so I'm not sure, like this mark here, there's no way I did that. That looks like a jack stand or some kind of transmission. I don't know what they did, when it in for a recall, but I did notice this is marred up and dented, and this mark here was from Toyota. Thank you, Toyota. Anyways, I'm going to take this piece off, and this will get extended out. The original ramp comes, the one I cut up comes to about here. I'll weld another piece on and tie it into the back side here. I just wanted to show you the plan of what I want to do, and this will all be covered, this transmission pan and stuff. And I might cut a hole here in the skid plate, I'm not sure yet, to get access to this, although it's going to be pretty easy just to take some bolts off to get the skid plate down. So I might not cover that, and I might cover that too, because as is, to change the oil, you have to drop this pan, and there's only 4 bolts. And also, you gotta drop this one, or you could probably snake up in there and get the oil filter. That's what this tube is for. They have a little catch. I don't know if you can see up there. They have a little catch thing, but it goes all over the place, goes in a frame, so I put this tube in here, and so you can reach up in there. I'm just pointing out, this truck for the skid plates. So once that tranny skid plate is in place, basically the whole thing except for the muffler is covered. Not that I go 4-wheeling, I just think it looks cool, but if you're interested in doing any skid plates, stick around, I'll show you what I did and maybe give you some measurements, yeah? So after that ramp was flattened out, I put, I flattened out the tongue here. Again, just put it on a cement floor and started whacking it with a sledgehammer. And it's flat as can be, or flat as I can get it anyway. It's just on a piece of metal there, that's why it doesn't look flat, but that's pretty flat. I guess I can give you some measurements, but I just kind of lopped off the corners at a 45 and, did some kind of pattern here just to make it look kind of like the other ones. And that piece there, that square piece, that's for the transfer case. I'm going to have to get another piece and weld that with an angle. We'll figure that out, but that was that rear riv nut, and these are the two riv nuts here. And like I said, I thought I was going to make a little hole for the motor mount, but I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to have a bolt here, 2 bolts there, a bolt there, and then this will be secured with the angle iron. I think that'll be enough to hold it, and I may or may not put another bolt here. The reason I'm hesitating on putting a riv nut here is just because this motor mount, up inside that cross member frame, it kind of has some angles for support. So either way, as you can see, I had a couple of marks here. Either way, I'm like, yeah, that's probably going to get into, too much business. But again, we'll figure that out in a second. All right, so got her supported in place, and I just missed. You can see the rib nut up there, but it's a little bit misaligned. This one's a little worse. So I'm going to have to go ahead and drill out a bigger hole. But it can't go too big, obviously. The head of the, it's just a 1/4 inch 20. So obviously we got some room to spare. Plus you can use some washers, and I think I did the same thing with this. If you miss, which there's no way for me to be exactly accurate. And this back one here is kind of, maybe slide it over a little bit. As you can see, I'll mark it. We need to, I might do like an oval thing. Just it looks pretty good center-wise. Just do an oval. Yeah, so that, it's going to look funny to me. Like there's a hole, and then there should be a hole here, which would put it right around here. But like I said, if you see in there's like a piece of metal on both sides, like for a cup. Again, it's for the, just support for that. So no matter where I go, it's going to be involved in that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll weld a tab right on this, right, with a little U, kind of like one of these. All right, so that'll work out. So I ended up just 1 or 2 sizes over. I forgot what the fraction of. They were originally 1/4 inch, but just the next size up, it almost did it, but this is 2 sizes up with the drill. Now it's loosey-goosey. All of them are loosey-goosey. And the back one, I did end up kind of going with the oval deal. This way, we're going to have a little bit of play. But once these are tightened up, so now this plate is kind of, it's not exactly flat. As you can see, it's wobbling a little bit. But once I get this piece, like I said, I'm going to weld a piece on here and just have like a fork coming in here, and we'll grab it with that. That'll tighten that up. So I've got this old aluminum cart here, and it's pretty thick stuff, 3/16 at least. All right, so it's just as thick as the plate, the curb ramp. So I'm going to use a section here. This is almost going to be perfect. So I need 2 inches as an extension. This is almost 2 inches. I think it's going to be perfect. And then we can, go. Well, I'll show you. Let me cut this piece off, and then hopefully this will work out. Oh, wow! So that gap is just exactly what I needed. So I just cut this piece out. I need a 9 3/4, and just by luck, the gap between these two uprights is 9 3/4. Now we got a piece of that's a little too warm. Piece of angle iron to work with, and then this is going to be. Yeah, it's still hot. I just have to find out where the transfer case is going to bolt up on this somewhere. So this is just a little skid plate for the transfer case here. But so now I'm thinking about it. Here's what I was originally going to do. It's going to, put this on here like this, and then bolt it to this, but that's gonna it's not gonna work. I mean, it'll work, but this transfer case, like a transmission, like an engine, like anything else, is on mounts, rubber mounts. So there's going to be some torque to it, and it's mounted to the frame here and to this cross member. And yeah, it'll probably flex or whatever, but it's probably not a good idea to go that route. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to do this piece here, but there's this bolt here. I'm going to do an extension down so it'll be frame. So here's what I come up with. So that hole there, literally, that bolt, it's just plugging a hole. Doesn't go to nothing. Maybe it's an option for something, I don't know. But I'm going to use that. I have a piece of scrap. It's pretty thick stuff there. That's going to be like a downspout. Something like this. So I'll put a little angle up there where the hole is, and then this will come straight down, right? And we'll find wherever this piece here is going to marry up, right? And then we'll just weld it like that. So we'll put this piece on. Alright, so we got this piece, this angle up. This is the underneath here. You know, it's upside down. So this is going to go up behind the transfer case there. So I'm just going to run a bead across there and you know, flip it over and do another bead on the flip side, and then we can add our uprights later. But we can mount this and then find out where the upright has got to be and the angle and all that business. Alright, so we'll let that cool and flip her over, do the other side, and then grind down the welds, and it'll look like one piece. Yeah. Alright, sweet. We got to grind down. There's you know, all we got left is we got to mock this up again and do that extension, and then weld that up, and that little piece, I think it's on this side here, that little horseshoe deal. So I clipped another piece of this card off. It makes nice angle iron there. Here's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I clipped off a piece and measured it up, bended it up the way it's supposed to be, and I'm going to do something like this. Just catch that one bolt that we took off the frame, so it'll be mounted to the frame, and nothing's going to be tweaked, you know, like twisting. And just for some rigidity, I'll go ahead and weld a piece of this thick stuff here, you know, like at a 90 degrees, right? You'll see when it's all welded up. Okay, I got it tacked up there, so maybe now you can see what I'm talking about. This is just a piece of, you know, angle iron, or not angle iron, just a piece of, you know, it's just a piece of flat stock, but it's going to give it rigidity from moving back and forth. And this piece up here, as you can see, it has a little bend to it because just the way the frame was and where it was. So that's where it's supposed to be. Let me, it's just tacked up now. I'll weld everything, and I did trim this piece, so it's basically an L, if you know what I'm saying. And now we got the piece here mounted to the body, and this is to the frame. Somewhere in there is a hole. And the other two holes down there, 1, 2, I think, somewhere in there. I'm going to have to do that third hole, or third little horseshoe. I'll do that. I got to mock this up first, but do that little slit there, and then we could just, I don't know, scuff it up and paint it. Alright, so we're almost done here. So that's where grabbing the frame, and or the body rather, and you know, it's just supported here, but this is a lot more supportive than I thought it would be, and we still have access to our drain plug here if we need to without taking the plate down. But so this is what I was talking about here. I'm just going to go ahead, it's just you know, we'll put a washer in there, but go ahead and weld this piece to that, and that'll be, like I said, 1, 2 secure points. This will be the third secure point, but even so, it's pretty solid. But what I'm also going to do is up here, I'm going to put on the top side or bottom side, or whatever you want to call it, some square tubing, just like you know, on the other side, just for support. So on the top side, this is side towards the oil pan there, I'm just going to add this 1-inch square tubing just to have it a little bit more rigid, in case I actually do hit something, which I never, you know, it's too high to actually hit, but if there is something, it'll give it a little more support. Alright, so I'm almost done here. So we got, I forget where we left off. So this cross member put on there just for a little extra rigid, and there's our piece. our piece that's going to grab the other skid plate. So now it's just time to clean this up, paint it up. I'm almost done here. So this is actually more stout than I thought, and it's still pretty lightweight. Alright, so we got painted up, 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of paint. I'm just wanting to point out, so we got one mount there, one mount here. That thing's solid. And get the mount here, boom, boom, right, we're done. So that came out pretty good. I don't know, it's a little off on the paint. I thought it was the right color. It's close enough. Can't really tell the difference, and no one's going to see it. So anyways, that's from the top, the air dam area, the, I don't know, oil filter area, the oil pan area, and the transmission area, all the way back to the transfer case. And of course you got the gas tank, but I didn't do that one. I did paint it though. Anyways, alright, so there you have it. This whole skid plate system, minus that gas tank skid plate, but the rest of them were made totally from scrap metal. So if you're interested in some of the other plates that I made, I do have a video, I can link that in. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time. Yeah?